All right, so good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining to a brand new VIROO webinar. Today is going to be really exciting. I'm going to talk about one of the topics I like the most about the use case of XR. And remember, as always, I'm having two computers here, so I'm having a look at the chat. So if you want to introduce yourself, say hi, or most important, ask any questions during this webinar, feel free to do it. I'll try to manage looking at the chat while I'm doing the presentation. And I'm going to talk to you about how we are using XR in VIROO in vocational training centers, in universities, and basically in training and education. And at the end, I'm going to show you a really cool demo showing live how I use one of our immersive apps to train staff. So again, thanks everyone for joining. We are 12 people right now. Hi, Matheus. Hi, thanks for joining. And without any further ado, I'm going to just show you my presentation. Let's hope this is working now. Correct. So again, I'm going to talk about leading the XR academic revolution. As I said in one of our topics in this year, it's been now 10 years since the launch of the newest VR headsets, the Oculus Rift, the HTC Vive. So many companies started creating prototypes, creating pilots, just proving the value of XR. But now, what we wanted to do is just to move from that innovation to really integrate XR into organizations, right? So what I'm going to do is guide you through what we've been doing these years and what interests me the most, what many companies inside Spain and internationally are using VIROO for. So, as always, the dream is this one, right? To use XR, this powerful technology, to train people all across the globe. And why is that? Because with XR, you gain something that no other technology nowadays can provide you. As I always say, you have the presence of actually being in another place. You have the full interaction with the controllers, with the hand tracking. You even have eye tracking, so you can even know where the user is looking. So the idea is to just integrate this technology in classrooms, in university, vocational training centers, basically everywhere. So this is the goal, but of course, it's not that easy, right? And one of the great things about using XR, of course, is going back to the learning pyramid. If you already know this, you know that basically when we are doing certain things, we retain some percentage of the information of the topic that we are doing. So if we go to a lecture, we sadly only retain like 5% of what we are speaking. So basically, that said, that what you are hearing right now, probably you always go back home with 5% of all the things that I'm going to show you. Let's hope that demo at the end, which is really visually, can improve on that. But basically, if you go reading, audiovisual demonstration, that percentage, of course, increases. But where we like to go is here, with practice by doing it. Because you reach a 75% of all the content that you are doing, you retain that huge amount of content. And that's where VR really guide us, because you can put the headset and you can actually do the things instead of just reading or watching the video, and you are retaining all those content that is really important. So we want to do is transform classrooms, right? Because classrooms almost everywhere, they have been looking the same for centuries now. It's always like a teacher with a blackboard speaking to the students. And nowadays, with all the technology of the data coming from the outside, it's really hard to maintain a retention of the students. One of the greatest things about headsets is that once you go inside the headset, you can no longer be distracted by things on the outside. So that's one of the benefits. But in this case, vocational training centers are doing things better, right? Because they actually have machinery there. So you can touch things, you can manipulate tools, you are actually doing things. So this is the way to go. The problem, of course, is that these things are expensive. No, every center can really manage to have this high-end machinery there. Of course, you have some risks to the students that they don't still know how to use the process. So maybe they have some damage in their hands, in any part of the body. So this is really expensive, and also it really can be dangerous to the students. And of course, a student cannot go back home and still train the process. That's one of the disadvantages. You actually have to be in the training center to be using that machine. So XR can actually improve on this, because you basically, again, with just the headset, you can start training every kind of process with total freedom of movement, with really high accurate from the real life, and you can train everywhere. I can grab my headset and I can start training now. So I'm going to show you a demo at the end. So this is the dream, right? To have a technology that is really going really cheap in the future. So back 10 years ago, you needed a powerful computer, a headset that cost more than $1,000. Now technology is getting really cheap, really fast, and even is becoming more powerful. So you can have all these simulations everywhere in the world. The problem, of course, is that we've done this 10 years ago. This is the VirtualWare's office in Madrid. This was in 2016 or 2017. And this is one of the trainings that we developed, that we custom made for a client. They wanted to train staff in going to the top of building and start using water to clean that building. That really serves their staff to learn the process. Not every interaction needs to be replicated in 100% fidelity. The important thing is to just retain the process. You learn the steps and in which order they need to go. So this was really great. And this was made in order to prove the value of the technology. And of course, the results were really great. Rating percents of, or rating rates of the amount of the speed they used in order to learn the process were really much better than before. But the thing is, once you have this kind of pilots, this kind of trainings, how you scale, right? That's the big problem. Now you have proven the technology. You want to integrate this in all your offices, in all your training centers, in universities, in all your organizations, and you want to connect people. That's the problem, because now you not only need to develop a custom-made training solution, you need to have a platform, a tool that really allows you to scale that way. So you have some operational management hurdles. For example, how you manage all the content. The content that you create is no longer stored in just one PC. You need to share that with all your colleagues, and being able to connect them, and of course manage access permissions, because not everyone in the organization needs to have permissions to access some specific content. So you need to have those separately, maybe between teams or between just vertical slices inside your company. And of course, you want classroom sync. You want to be able to connect different rooms, not only across the country, but even across the world. So this is really difficult to do, and it's worth with what VirtualWare has been doing for the 5 past years. So you, of course, only also have to have compatibility and security risk, because you need multi-device compatibility. Because as I've showed you before, this was like one specific project that we developed years ago. And this was working in an HTC Vive Model 1 that they launched in that year. So if that only works in that headset and you acquire new headsets, that's a problem, right? You need a content that is going to work seamlessly across devices. So that's also something that you need to take account of. And of course, content privacy. Of course, you don't want content to be uploaded in any specific cloud and being able or not store it in a really secure way. So you already need that. And of course, lastly, but not least, infrastructure reliability. You always want the platform to be ready, because in a classroom, you only have like 1 hour to teach your specific topic. So if the platform is not working in that moment, that class is missing. You have not been prepared for what happens if the content is not ready for you, right? So for that is when VIROO comes in, and it's your solution to all these struggles. And I'm going to show you how organizations, classrooms, university have been using VIROO in the recent years. But briefly, I want to talk to you a little bit about VIROO itself. So remember, if you haven't been to a webinar before, or if you haven't heard about VIROO before, VIROO is an extra platform that is designed to enable organizations to secure, create, deploy, manage, scale immersive experiences. So it allows you to have these particular features like an XR content creation frameworks. So you don't need to limit to the content already being created for you. You can create your custom content for the classroom. And this is key to universities and classrooms, because some teachers want a specific 3D model or a specific process to be teach, so you can actually create this content. And I'm going to talk to you about almost at the end how we are facilitating this to even non-expert profiles. So you also have multi-user immersive collaboration environments. So no matter what you do, it's going to be multi-user. It's cross-device, so you can use almost whatever headset you want. And even if you don't have a headset, you can use that as well. I'm going to talk about that as well. And that means that it's really a scalable orchestration infrastructure. So you can start really small, and if you've seen the value of the platform and you are starting to use the content a lot more, you can scale and purchase more licenses and spread across different classrooms in the world. And of course, everything is done in a really secure development way. So your content is secure, it's always where you want it to be, and you have full control on that. So basically, that brings us to our three main pillars, which is digital sovereignty. So you are the full owner of your content and you decide where it is. We have operational resilience. So the platform is designed in a modular way. So if a specific service comes down, the platform is going to still work for you. Imagine that you join a session and for some reason the voice chat is not working, but the rest of the system is run well. So you have that multi-user network connectivity, you have the multi-device compatibility, and probably the voice chat will come back again, but all the service doesn't go down if a specific feature does. And of course, you have architectural independence. So this platform is flexible. We wanted to make it vendor agnostic. So you don't need to purchase a specific headset. All the content that you created is created with Unity, as I'm going to show you later. So even if you stop using VIROO in the future, you can reuse that content for whatever main purpose you want. So that also brings us interoperability and long-term adaptability. That's what VIROO is all about, because you don't want to start processes or projects that just take 1 or 2 years. You are really thinking in a much higher way, in 10 to 20 years investment, right? So you have this platform has VIROO services, all the features that allows this platform to really work for you, all that network connectivity, all the device deployment, different cross-platform, and you are going to consume all the content in the VIROO players. And finally, the VIROO Studio, which is our SDK to allow you to create this kind of content. The good thing about XR, if I always like to say, is that many people, and this webinar, of course, is focused on that, think about education and training, but it's really good because you can apply this to a whole enterprise value chain. So you can start using it for training, but of course, the design and engineering team can use this to really see the 3D models in a much immersive way, not having really to build that maquettes or prototypes and then go back to the factory. They can really apply those changes in a virtual environment. And simulation manufacturing, of course, you can have detailed twins. You can have a replica of your factory to see how exactly is going to operate. And of course, even if you want to use it for promotion and customer experience. So really powerful technology. And again, with VIROO, you are going to have different ways to operate that. As I'll show you before, digital sovereignty is really important for us. And of course, privacy and manage your content. So you are going to be able to deploy in a shared cloud, which is the default way. If you need a dedicated cloud because you already have one contracted, you can use that, of course. And some of the organizations we work with, they really have high restrict environments, so they go for the last option, which is deploy on premises or even in a private cloud. Okay, so these three options are really available for you, so you can really start creating content and be sure that everything is going to work just fine for you. The VIROO players, again, these are the executables that are going to allow users to create and join sessions. So if you're a teacher, if you're a student, you just need to start the single player, as I'm going to show in the demo, create any sessions, send that to your students, and you will start joining in the same virtual environment. This allows you to connect and collaborate. You can use these in a full immersive room, like the VIROO rooms we wanted to deploy, which is this one, where multiple people have headsets, no matter the brand, and you can move around, or even we can deploy this in cave systems. If you are an organization that have like a old steel cave system, you can still use that in order to use VIROO. So VIROO Studio, which is one of my favorites. Let's just reorientate the camera here because I have like the active tracking. Sorry about that. So VIROO Studio is our SDK. I'm going to be quick on this because I want to focus on the content that has been created with this technology, but is a tool that is going to allow you to create once and deploy everything. So just retain the topic that you are always going to focus on creating your content and not struggling with the infrastructure problem. So you can you use a Unity-based SDK. You are going to basically open a Unity project, and we are also making it compatible with Unreal and more the engines in the future. And you can create the content, and no matter what you do, it's going to always be multi-user and multi-device ready. And that's the good thing about it. I'm not a programmer. I don't know how to code, but I can create this kind of immersive experience that are multi-user, multi-device without worrying about it. So you keep control on how you build. And also, of course, it accelerates development. Even if you are a professional developer, you are going to see how fast you can create this content. And I'm going to talk about to you some of the partners that are really using this content in collaboration with universities and vocational trainers. And of course, everything you do is going to be native to the platform. So you just create once, and maybe you are thinking about deploying in a MetaQuest headset, but it's also going to work in a VIROO room and in an HTC Vive, in a Pico headset, in a VIROO room, in a Cave system. That's the good thing. You only create once, you upload that to the cloud, and it's going to just work for you. And in particular, Studio for Unity, which is the project that we provide, that it also includes our predefined components, is going to give you access to these high-level APIs for having access to the service. So again, all the content you are going to be creating is going to have access to the voice chat, to the multi-device compatibility, the network, and it also includes low-code tools. These are the ones that I'm using. So whenever I want to create content, I use VIROO templates, which in this case, I focus one of the webinars in this specific template, which is the assembly sequence template. So you can start creating content really fast and just worrying about the process that you want your students to learn. So this is really cool. So now back to our topic, which is VIROO in education and training. What the universities and vocational trainings have been doing in the past year with this incredible platform and this incredible content creation tool. So again, we have customers all across the globe making content for every specific many different topics and industries. And I'm going to show you some of these examples. So with education and training, well, one of the main goals, of course, is scaling global knowledge. Okay, we now with VIROO have a unified XR ecosystem across plus 90 universities and vet centers. Okay, so we won a tender about 2 years ago with deploying this platform to 66 vocational trainers in Spain that were joining the already existing 25. And we also have universities in Canada, in Latin America, in different parts of the world that are really being able to create this kind of content and connect with many of them if they want. So this provides a unified digital infrastructure. As I said, you have content sovereignty. So you are the owner of your content and you can do with it whatever you want. And it's future-proof for education with all the features and security systems that we provide. And of course, you have that large-scale interoperability if you want, connecting those people of just having a session in a specific room or being able to connect with many more across the globe. In the specific case of vocational centers, many of them are creating content or joining and force alliances with our content creation partners. So you can create your content yourself. You can depend on virtualware if you want, if the project is big and really is interest for us, or you can access our content creation partners that are really high capable of creating this kind of content for VIROO. They also know, or they already know how to use VIROO, or you can even search the content creation partner you want. So you are not vendor locking. You can use the approach you want and that suits you best in order to create your content. So this kind of content is, again, for many industry specific use cases, for electricity, for training processes, even for culinary environments where you just want to teach people how to cook a specific dish. So again, this is multidisciplinary content creation. And everything is collaborative, multi-user learning. You can just be alone in a session, but you can, of course, connect with everyone just by sharing your link. And again, I want to really say this as many times as I need. You are the proprietary asset ownership. So you have the control on your content, and just for being created in VIROO doesn't mean that you own the content. If you don't use VIROO in the future, that content is going to be ready for you. You probably will need to adapt things in order to the multi-user and multi-device compatibility still be using, but all the process that you have been done in Unity or Unreal is still going to be there. That's why we doesn't provide a specific content creation environment, because we want people and teachers and developers to feel right at home, and they already know how to use VIROO. So I want to show you some of the examples of the content that have been created in the past years. In this case, this is Core Studio. I'm going to just leave the video to speak for itself. So as you can see, the quality of the models, the kind of processes that you can replicate in XR is really great, with all the multi-user connectivity, the multi-device compatibility. And this was what I was talking about at the beginning. You can train these kind of processes almost wherever you are. If you are in just your house, you connect with the headset, or even you can use the laptop. If you don't have a headset, you can use the single player with your keyboard and mouse, and you can be training these over and over again. You don't need to go to a specific classroom in order to do it. So the important thing, again, is not simulating every step of every interaction, but you just learn the process, the step-by-step guidance that you are going to receive. So this is Core Studio, which has been working with Equivita, which is one of our vocational trainings, as you can see here in the logo. And this is one of the process and one of the content that I really like the most, because the attention to detail and the quality of the process that is being simulated here is really high. Carol Dweck said, what's there to train? If you mean here in this a specific content created by, because I have some delay with the live that is showing in LinkedIn, you can train almost everything. Okay, we have full information on this specific process. I want to leave that to the demo because I have a full process there. But again, this is the calibration of a specific machinery there. So how they need to calibrate the machine in order to work properly. So those are the steps that you are going to be learning in this specific use case. But I want to leave that to the end to a new app that we have been showing in the past. And moving on to another partner, this is Isostopy. This is another content creation VIROO partner. And this is a really cool immersive training where you use all the tools at your disposal in order to calibrate the sensors in the car. So to check that every sensor in the car, the speed sensor, the balance sensor, everything is working properly. And again, if you have never experienced XR, I hope you do at any point, you can see how detailed the interactions can be. Of course, some of them are going to be simplified because, again, the important thing here is learning the process, not how deep you need to go with a specific tool, how hard it is to just twist it. The idea is that you start learning this in a really quick way. And this is really proven result because with all the meetings that I have with our clients, every time I put on the headset and show this kind of demos to them, I end up learning the process. So this is one of the ways that you really know this is working, because I haven't looked at any manual, any guide at all. And just by putting the headset and doing these interactions, I really remember what I need to do. And I have never trained in these kind of scenarios before. So one of the most important projects that we have in the past and is still going on is Simur. This project has been developing, or we are developing this in collaboration with the Spanish Ministry of Defense. So this is a really high and powerful project that it also uses our old tracking technology that Virtual were patented 5 to 7 years ago. This was like an inside-out tracking technology that really was one of the first to provide absolute positioning for multi-user people in large-scale spaces. Now we are using different kind of tracking, but they are still using this application, and it's aimed to train combat medical situation. So you immerse and start learning TCC, mass casualty incidents, and CBRN threats. And you can do that again in a risk-free environment, in a really, really impactful way where you are centered or focusing your process, and you can just start using all the tools and all the, I don't know if this has any sound. Sorry about that. Let's go back again. There you go. I don't want the sound to be interrupting. So again, you have all these scenarios where you can choose which role the user is going to be using. You can be the medic, you can be the assist, and you have like different scenarios where different victims are spread across the environment. And the good thing about it is that every victim is being safe in the system. So you know the status of the victim, if the steps that the user have been applying in the simulation are well done or incorrect. So all this data, you are going to be able to have it at the end and improve on that for next trainings. And of course, all the system, it can be exported for the trainee and the trainers to analyze that and improve on the training. And you can train again this over and over again. And then, of course, you can go to the field and maybe train less times because you already know how to do the process. And you can simulate whatever kind of scenarios you want. This is really great one. Now it has 3 use cases. We are trying to go farther from that, and these also use NATO standards, so it can be sold to almost every NATO organization. So because the process is the same, so we really want to integrate this across Europe, so many more centers can be trained in this kind of projects and applications with VIROO. ADIF with the railway infrastructure training simulator is one of the biggest as well. We even renovate the collaboration months ago with another investment. So what we are doing for them is critical infrastructure training. So it's a realistic simulation of high voltage electric systems. So many people can train in the same environment, and you can, again, of course, replicate these kind of interactions in a really precise way. And again, learn the process. So you learn about operational safety, resource efficiency, standardized assessment. And this really also brings ADIF the value in order and the ability to create their own simulations. We have created for them a full customizable trainings simulations creator. So they can change some variables, they can select the scenario, they can change what is going to happen. So it's not just one simulator. They will be able to create different branches of what's going to happen in simulation to see how the students react to that. So I'm checking time to time the chat if we have some questions. So again, if you have any question, feel free to ask during the presentation. We are almost approaching the demo. And if you want to say hi again, just do it. And one of the last topics is McMaster University. This is in Canada. It was Canada's first hub for key research and industrial applications. This is a physical space. It's a 1,000 square foot facility located at McMaster Innovation Park. So this is one of our VIROO rooms, which he uses the new tracking system I was talking about. In this case, it's the STC LAB tracking system, which allows you to just put on the headset. All the content is stored in the PC and is wireless streamed to the headset. So no longer need to wear like backpacks with PC, that they are really heavy and you can get a lot of hot from that. And they're using this for next-gen mobility. So they're designing EVs, infrastructure, and transit systems with a focus on disability and accessibility, all using a virtual environment. And this, of course, is really suitable for industry digital twins, because you can have all your factories, all your machinery, and really see how they behave in a virtual environment before training those in a real situation. So in this case, I'm going to let the video speak for itself, because all the people from there are going to talk to you about how this is working for them.
My name is Unai Extremo, CEO and one of the founders of Virtual World. We are really excited to be here. This is the first virtual reality room in Canada.
What we identified with McMaster was a partner that was serious about innovation and also had a deep history of working with industry partners as a resource. Our platform, VIROO, is going to allow Hamilton and the region to be able to leverage this amazing technology that not only allows for people to utilize simulated environments within here with the infrastructure projects and the things that are happening, but also globally to be able to collaborate and unify people in regards to other businesses looking to invest here, looking to work with the companies that are here. Now, there's the ability with VIROO to actually go into virtual environments in 3D to be able to work with people not only locally, but also everywhere in the world.
So I've been working with McMaster Automotive alongside our industry partner Cubic Transportation Systems on developing virtual reality simulations for the smart mobility sector. And as part of that, we've been creating simulations of things like station gates, vending machines, validators, and testing and developing the travelers, the commuters' experience in a transit station. Traditionally, when you're presenting a product, you would most likely use PowerPoint, right? But now we can actually involve every single team member into this VR world. Whether it's deployed to the headset or to the desktop, they can actually be there in 3D space, looking at a product from multiple angles and giving us their critiques. Our new partnership with Virtualware has made it a lot more easy, a lot faster to design things in VR. So for example, we've had 2 students come on board in the past month, and what they've been able to do in 1 week before our partnership with Virtualware, before this new VR suite, it would have taken me 2 months to do. So the whole process has become a lot more streamlined.
This VR room will help the students by offering them new hands-on and experiential learning opportunities. As a researcher, the VR room and the partnership with Virtualware will allow us to develop technologies for sustainable transportation systems. What is really exciting to us is through VR room, we can address not just artificial intelligence and machine learning technologies for the smart mobility of the future, but we put equity, diversity, and inclusion at the heart of everything. Because people are different. People, they have different abilities, different disabilities. And with VR room, you can bring pedestrians, you can bring people in the loop for the next generation of transportation and smart mobility systems.
Essentially, this technology is something that many people may have heard of before, but more in regards to gaming and entertainment. In regards to ourselves, we utilize this technology to be able to solve real-world problems within industry.
So there you go. You see all the use cases that McMaster is using VIROO and XR4. Really great project. And again, one of the first immersive rooms that we deployed with a new tracking system. And that brings me to answer one of the questions that we have in the chat, because Dr. M. Ganesh asked, what tech you use to achieve low latency and tether-free connectivity at an enterprise level? And that's a really great question. And we are using really 2 technologies, because one is the streaming technology that allows us to stream the content from the PC to the headset. And for that, we are using both HTC Vive business streaming service and the Pico service. And even HTC and Pico headsets can be joining in the same room and share the same virtual environment and the same physical space. So that's for streaming the content. And we are also creating projects and test other technologies as NVIDIA Omniverse in order to stream directly from the cloud. So not only to have the content in a PC in your rooms, but only just a stream from a really powerful computer in the cloud, so you can even see more powerful 3D models. So we are experimenting always with those. But the other thing, of course, is the networking in VIROO itself, right? Because how you connect all those people with all those systems and services. And for that, we use our proprietary networking system that we have been developing for the past 5 years. So that's why I said before, if you create something with VIROO Studio, you can use that as long as you have a VIROO license. But if in the future you no longer want to use VIROO, you just cancel your license, you can still have your VIROO Studio project or your Unity project, basically. So you can just adapt all those networking features that VIROO provides, and is one of the key advantages of using VIROO. You can create your own if you want. But again, that's one of the values, that you just focus on the content so you can scale much faster. So not only the networking, but is of course one of the huge advantages of using an already existing platform. That solves that for you, the networking, the multi-device connectivity, and all being stored in a really secure way. So that brings us to the best part of today's, which is the demo, right? Let's see if everything works correctly, because again, I'm live, I'm using many technology right here, but I want to show you how to create a session with VIROO and one of the contents that one of our vocational trainees is using. This is content that we have created in collaboration with one of the Basque Country the vocational training centers. And it's really easy to create a session with VIROO. You just search or start to create a new session. And this is all the content that we have in our cloud, in a specific cloud. Again, you can have this in a private cloud, in on-premises, in a shared cloud with others. And we, in this case, have the cloud in Amazon Web Services. So since I'm logging with my Virtualware credentials, I can just search for all the applications that we have developed. And this is the one that I want to show you. This is about working in heights to an installation of an antenna on top of a building. And you can learn the process. And the first time I did this process, I think I retained like almost every step of the way. So if I just wanted to test my knowledge right before that, I think I would really pass the exam. But I want to show you step by step how to do. So in this case, I'm going to create the session and join. I have here the link and the ID that I can share with my colleagues. And before joining and put on the headset, I'm going to answer one of the questions that we have here from Jose Luis Diaz Torres. He's asking platform. Oh no, I think he's answering. So platform automatically adapt the content to different VR headset technologies when it is uploaded. Okay, it's a question. Yeah, exactly. It's not that we use the OpenXR standard. So whenever you create a content and upload that to the cloud, the single player, which is this application I'm using right here, VR single player, when you have your headset connected to the headset, is going to just deploy that content through the headset. In this case, if I just press play, I can select to join using my keyboard and mouse, but I'm going to select my VR headset. I can put my alias. So the good thing is that if you select the headset, we don't manage how you connect the headset to the computer. In this case, I'm using a wire, as you can see, but you can use virtual desktop, you can use the Horizon Link solution, you can use a Steam Link solution. So the important thing is that you have your headset recognized and connected to your laptop or your computer. If you have that, once you open single player and press play, it's going to just be shown in the headset. So no matter if you are using an HTC Vive, a Pico, a MetaQuest headset, even an Apple Vision Pro, I have one and it's technically compatible with the platform. So that's why, that's how we really solve that, because we are compatible with all the mainstream OpenXR headsets in the market. Let's see if I have any other question. Does the content creator have to adapt XR content for a specific headset? No, it doesn't. There you go. So I'm going to try the demo because we have like 5 to 7 minutes to end this webinar. And again, you can still be asking questions so I can have a look at the end, but I really want to show you because this is really great. So I'm going to put on the headset. I'm going to try to activate the tracking here, which is going to be really cool. As you can see, if I move around, the camera is going to follow me, and this is really important because I'm going to be moving around and I want you to see all the interactions. So I'm going to click on initiate here. I'm going to, it's telling me that I need to update my content. Really? I have tried this before. Okay, now it's launching. So I want to make sure that you are just seeing this. Let's hope you do. Okay, I'm inside of the training and the camera is following me. So everything is working properly. So this is the environment. Again, this is one of the great things about XR. No, it's not only about looking at it from a laptop and in a 2D screen. I'm actually have the sense that I'm here. Everything feels one-to-one scale, and I can start the training in a really focused environment and start learning the process. So I have here like the language selector. If I press play, let's hope that you are seeing this. Okay, I'm going to select the guided mode so it's going to train me, but of course I can use an unguided mode in order to see if I really have all the knowledge to go from this. So I'm going to put the volume to the top to see if you can hear it from the microphone. There you go. And the process starts. Operator 1, of course this is multi-user, but I can be joining alone as well if I want to. So let's just select operator 1 and start training.
Select the right PPE.
Okay, so now it's telling me that I need to select the right equipment. In this case, I just only need to touch the pieces. Again, it's not about simulating every step of the process. It's about learning how you need to operate and follow the process. So again, all the materials that I need to pick up, I have here my equipment with a...
Open the inventory with the A button on the controller or by pressing the spacebar. Here are all the objects you've collected, and you can select them to open the inventory, select the carabiner, and hook it to the mooring point.
There you go. So I have all the tools that I have previously selected here. So I can just select one of this and I can have a better look of all my tools, as I always can do in XR. If I go here...
Open the inventory again, take the second carabiner, and hook it to the lifeline.
Okay, the camera is following me. I think everything is going properly. So now, as you can see, I have like an indication here that I need to pick another tool, the carabiner here, and put it right here. So let's just go there.
Unhook the carabiner from the mooring point.
And this is one of the great things. Again, I haven't really read the manual of this process, and now I'm learning how important is this risk prevention steps in order to just start doing your work. You only, that's it. You just need to be really sure that you are secure in this kind of operations. So now I can go here. Well, you can move around just by here. I don't get motion sickness anymore from VR, so I can just move around, or you can even just teleport. So if you get motion sickness still by using headsets, you can just teleport and you are not going to get any sick at all. So, but I rather use the continuous movement because I've already used VR for a lot of time. So I get used to that kind of experience. So now I can follow the process. There you go. I can grab the piece. I can put it here.
Take the 3-meter section of the tower and place it on the base. Open the inventory and select the screws to fix the tower.
There you go. I'm going to pick up the screws. Again, I can have like a really good look at this. And this is one of how we really simulate things. It's not about learning how to put the screws, because you can see this is animated.
One of the two operators will be in charge of climbing the tower. The other will remain attached to the lifeline. The climber must unhook one of the carabiners from the lifeline.
There you go. So now, so again, it's about learning the process. We even have like really cool simulations here. As you can see, the ropes are really following me whenever I try to move around. So this is really cool. This is one of the great things I like about XR. And this is really great because you are not only focused on the training, you are really enjoying the training, and that really increases the retention of everything that you are going to be doing here.
Unhook the second carabiner from the lifeline.
I never get tired of this technology.
Carabiner to the tower.
Now, let's put this.
Stand in the marked area in front of the tower. You take the section of the mast you see on your right and place it on the tower.
There you go.
Open the inventory and select the screws to fix the mast.
As you can see how quick I can do the process. And I can, and of course,
Come down from the tower.
of course, one of the great things about XR is that I really have this sense of altitude. So I'm really learning about how dangerous these kind of processes are. So I'm really taking account that I have always needed to be hooked to this tower in order not to fall down.
Release one of the carabiners from the tower. Hook the carabiner.
There you
on the
go.
lifeline.
Let's just put it right here.
Second carabiner from the tower.
Put
Hook
it
the
again.
carabiner on the lifeline.
There you go.
Take the end of the rope and place it in the correct hook.
I'm just going to do like 5 more steps because I'm not going to do all the process because it's a really long process. But you can see, again, the attention to detail, that every step is really simulated in a really interesting way, which I'm not, it's also user-friendly because I don't need to screw every specific screw to the tower. I just learn the process. Which specific carabiner I need to grab, where to put it, where that I need now, and understand the process itself that I need now to pick up this cable. Put it right here.
Incorrect stable
Oh,
position.
sorry.
Placing it on the floor.
There you go.
Press
Exactly.
the end of the rope and place it in the correct hook.
And as you can see, because this is a guided mode, they even tell me if I'm doing something incorrectly. So in this case,
Incorrect stable position.
there you go.
Placing it on the floor could cause.
There you go.
Take the end of the rope and place it in the correct hook.
So now I know that I need to place the hook right here, not in the floor.
To tighten the rope, open the inventory, select the screwdriver and wrench, and place them on the tensioner.
There you go. I select this tool. I put it right here. Then the screwdriver. And this is going to be the last step in my simulation. So you can see how the cable, it gets tightened. So again, this is just awesome. And this is why I like XR so much. Again, I hope you are as excited as I am. This is a really, really complex simulation. Let's just switch one moment from this just to hide this one so I can get like my entire view of me. So this is really, really complex processes that if you are just showing a video or just a PDF or with the process, you are only just going to retain 5 to 10% of the process. Now I haven't looked at a guide or a manual and just doing the process using the headset, using the controllers with total freedom in my house so I can train over and over and again. So whenever I go to that vocational training center or to my specific workplace, I already know how to do these things. And I'm doing these things to VIROO. Again, an XR infrastructure platform that is going to allow you to create this kind of content, integrate those in the classroom in a really secure way, and really scale as much as you want in a multi-user, multi-device environment. So that was the demo. I'm going to look at the comments here. So thank you for the presentation. Can you outline how to integrate headset content and interaction with a cave system in a Unity project through VIROO? We are going to have a webinar on that. So we are going to have a specific webinar talk regarding caves and igloo projection systems. But again, it's really simple. Once we install the software in your cave, it's just uploading the application and it's going to work just fine. So you don't need to create a specific application for that. The same application is going to work in your cave system, and it's going to work in a headset, in a laptop with a keyboard and mouse. But we are going to have a specific webinar on that, and we probably are going to bring our CTO, Sergio Barrera, which is going to talk about how we made that integration, because he was one of the ones that was really in that project and adapting VIROO to those kind of projects and systems. So definitely check on this and be keep attention on this channel, because again, it's something that we are going to cover in future webinars. So I'm going to refresh on LinkedIn just to see if we have some last comments here, because sometimes I need to refresh. I think we're done for now. So again, thanks for joining in, everyone. I really hope you really understand how powerful XR is, and how you, at this day in 2026, you really need a robust, really powerful XR platform in order to being able to join and create this kind of content in educational and training processes. So if you really want to revolutionize how your students learn, or your workers know how to do their jobs even before the workplace even exists, as we are doing also in Canada with the battery boost program, where workers are trained in the process even before the factory of the batteries even exists. So you need this kind of tools, and you need something that is going to give you digital sovereignty in a really secure way, that is resilience, and is going to be available to scale as you want. So thanks again for joining us. It was a really pleasure to show you this kind. I think everything went correctly. This is going to be uploaded to YouTube probably tomorrow. So if you didn't get the chance to watch it here, you can also go to our YouTube channel, and of course to our VIROO website, which is viro.virtualwarecode.com. Thanks everyone for joining, and this was a really good, great session, and I hope to see you in future sessions as well. Bye bye.